Now, Kemi Badenoch, she waded into culture wars yesterday here at the Tory Conference, about time too. Let's hear what she had to say.
I pay tribute to the many women's and LGBT groups, such as Conservatives for Women, Sex Matters, and the LGB Alliance, who, despite unbelievable opposition, kept fighting this policy, refusing to be cancelled and speaking the truth. There's no other party that will defend common sense. Next week, Labour will tell the country that it is ready for government. But ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. If Labour MPs won't tell us what a woman is, what else aren't they telling us?
Oh, where do I look?
At us.
So we are joined now by the co-founder of LGB Alliance, Kate Harris. Good morning, Kate. What did you make of what Kemi Badenoch said yesterday?
I thought it was brilliant, and it was such a highlight for her to name those of us who've been really fighting against the madness. We're completely apolitical. LGB Alliance has no political allegiance. But for 3 years running, we've applied to each major political party to attend the conference, Liberals, Labour and the Conservatives. And it's the Conservative Party who've had us 3 years running, and the others have banned us. So we feel very welcome here. This is the place where you're allowed to speak the truth.
Yeah.
And that's what Kemi does, and that's what we do.
Is there a bit of frustration, though, that that's just because the mood music of the country has changed to some extent? Do you think that the Conservative Party are just reacting now to the fact that there does seem like there is a common sense approach to transgender issues which has started to evolve through the media, through conversations, and now maybe they could have been supporting you all along?
Well, we don't look back, we look forward. Yeah. And frankly, thousands and thousands of men and women, but largely women, have driven change, not only in England, but in Scotland. We're struggling in Wales. But in terms of winning votes, I think every MP needs to get angrier and happier. Every candidate now standing from whatever party needs to look at what is the electorally salient issue of the day. Voters like the truth.
Yeah.
They do not like to be patronised, and it seems to be that the Conservatives are prepared to listen to what we've been saying for years, and many other groups. You cannot change sex. A child cannot be born in the wrong body. And for goodness sake, let's not teach them lies in schools.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at what Kemi Badenoch said in the speech, and I've been waiting for her to make this speech for a long time, Kate. You and I have talked about this with a sense of pressure, but she said it was the Conservative government that stopped the shameful SNP and Labour politicians in Scotland effectively going ahead with putting rapists who are then identifying as women in prisons, and also stopping that trying to stop that balmy law of teenagers changing their gender at school without even possibly talking to their parents.
Yes, I mean, we've been through, what's happened, Andrew, is that there's been a coup. It's an attempted coup on liberal democracy.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole new set of ideas that make no sense when they're scrutinised, that's been forced on the whole population of this country and other countries with no democratic debate. Yes, the Conservatives have presided over this, but thankfully they're coming to their senses and drawing back now and saying, no, we will go no further with this.
When is the Education Secretary going to stop fussing on about concrete in schools and, I've forgotten her name, what's the Education Secretary?
Gillian Keegan.
Gillian Keegan.
Yes.
And actually give the clear guidance that you want in schools that say parents have to be told if their child turns up in the classroom and is going to change their gender or their pronoun. We still haven't had that guidance.
We haven't, and thankfully Gillian Keegan and Kemi Badenoch, we understand, are engaged in fruitful discussions on this, because the other thing that must change is that if a parent cannot see RSE materials, they should...
So that's relationship and sex education.
Yeah, they should have the right to withdraw their child. Yeah. That is fundamental. So yes, what's happened at the DfE is a fascinating case study. I recommend you read an article by Stephanie Davis-Arai of Transgender Trend. She traces the influence of Stonewall over 13 years through the DfE. You can see the changes in policy that they drove, an unelected body who attempted to take over our educational system, teach children a pack of lies and develop a pipeline straight to the Tavistock Clinic, where these children end up having...
Which is going to be closed down, of course.
Which is being closed down, but there are 5 new units being set up, and some of the disgraced Tavistock staff are getting roles in those. So we cannot relax. We've stopped the coup to some extent, and the Conservatives have been so helpful in seeing the necessity of this, and it's a vote winner. I've got to say this.
Absolutely. I can't
First
understand
party,
why they don't get on with it.
If Rishi stands up and says, this is stopping. We are no longer teaching gender identity ideology in schools. We are stopping every single private clinic that is prescribing puberty blockers on the internet. He will see a surge in the
Yeah.
you know, we've
I'd argue
talked about-
particularly among women. I would say particularly among women.
particularly
Mothers.
amongst women.
Yeah, mothers.
Because it's
Can I say we've had so many fathers?
yeah, I'm
coming up
sure.
with-
I'm
fathers
sure.
with daughters. Rishi's got 2 daughters.
He has.
Sure.
These parents know
Yeah.
if they don't do something, they could lose their own children.
Kate, what's your theory on why there are so many more children now deciding that they're born in the wrong body using
I
that
blame
phrase?
myself. I blame myself for a lot of it. I was an ardent supporter of Stonewall. We created a monster. Everybody took Stonewall's
Stonewall, of course,
words.
was the organised a campaign for equal rights for gay and lesbian
Yes,
people,
yes.
and then moved on to the trans issue.
Correct. And up until 2015, Stonewall's name was trusted. So we could lobby ministers, we could lobby MPs, we could talk to anybody, and they knew we were speaking about equality.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less. Equality under the law. Stonewall lost its collective mind in 2015, and they have been promoting this ideology through government, through the civil service. That's why a lot of ministers are not making progress, because they're snafu'd.
Another, I was talking to a GP yesterday who was saying that what she's seeing now is that anorexia and bulimia have almost disappeared in the clinic,
Yes.
and they're being replaced by transgender conflict crises.
Look at what's fashionable.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not fashionable to be a goth. It's fashionable to be trans or
Well,
non-binary.
founder of LGB Alliance, Kate Harris,
There you go.
thank you
Great
so
to
much.
talk to you, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you.